Another main model of forgetting is retrieval theory. According to retrieval theory, forgetting occurs because we fail to access stored memories. Now, this can happen one of two ways. We could have encoding failure, where there's trouble initially encoding the information, or we may not have adequate retrieval cues or hints to help us pull the information out of long-term memory. So let's go ahead and look at an example of encoding failure. Let me go ahead here, and I want to share my screen. Okay, and this is from your textbook. Okay, and here is just a simple example of encoding failure. Many of us, if we are looking at these dimes, would probably be having a little bit of trouble about which one is correct. Okay, which one of these is actually the true US currency dime coin? Is the head facing to the left or the right? What about the details of the text? I can't easily figure out the answer here, and I'm guessing most of you can't either. You probably would need to pull a dime out of your pocket and check on these details. This is an example of how we don't always encode all of the details. Now, all of these look reasonable. They look like dimes. Some look better than others, but it's a little bit difficult to identify the accurate one. We don't encode all of these details, and it's not really necessary for us to do so. Generally, we can identify the dime in our pocket. It's distinct from pennies, nickels, and quarters. So here's an example of encoding failure. We don't really encode all of the details here. Now, we can also have lack of access or not enough retrieval cues to help jog our memory. Maybe we're trying to remember a concept on a chemistry test, or we're trying to remember an actress's name, and we may not have enough retrieval cues in order to get that information out. One thing we do know is in memory, we have what's called a context dependency effect. So if you're taking a test in a chemistry classroom, it helps to study and prepare in that classroom. The room itself can serve as a retrieval cue and a set of hints if you're struggling on the test trying to remember something. So that's just one example of retrieval cues, in that case in the environment and the context, that can help jog your memory. So in sum, retrieval theory argues that we forget because we either do not fully encode the information in the beginning, or we have the information stored, but we just we don't have access to the right retrieval cues and hints in order to pull the information out. Now, when we look at all of these theories of forgetting, the important point to remember is that they all pretty much tap into and explain an aspect of forgetting. No theory is really right or wrong here. They're all correct, and they all account for a different aspect of forgetting. Decay theory explains how memories fade over time. Interference theory shows us that information we learn before and after can impact and interfere with memory. And retrieval theory demonstrates to us that we could have problems initially encoding material, or we may not have the right cues to get the material out of long-term storage. Okay, so you should be familiar with these three main theories of forgetting and their general takes on why we forget.